The world outside is a silent, frozen cathedral of white, where the wind bites harder than any predator. You stand at the threshold of a dark limestone cavern, the only sanctuary against a landscape that has forgotten the warmth of the sun. Deep within, the smell of damp earth mingles with the sharp, acrid scent of wood smoke and animal fat. Your breath hitches in the frigid air, a cloud of vapor dissipating into the gloom that has swallowed generations of your kin. This is not just a place to sleep, it is a fortress forged by stone, fire, and the sheer will to survive. You are living at the edge of the world, where every flickering shadow hides a potential threat or a memory of a lost season. For thousands of years, these caves have cradled humanity through the long, brutal night of the last glacial maximum. Tonight, we peel back the layers of ice to witness how our ancestors truly lived, thrived, and dreamed in the cold. Step inside, leave the modern world behind, and prepare to see the Ice Age as it truly was. The landscape that surrounds the cave is a vast, unforgiving expanse of sub-zero tundra that stretches toward an endless horizon. Glaciers, heavy and ancient, crush the northern continents under a weight that seems to stifle the very earth beneath them. Rivers have ceased their flow, locked in a rigid, icy grip that mirrors the stillness of the permafrost. Vegetation is little more than hardy mosses and lichens, clinging to the frozen ground with a tenacity that mimics the people who live here. Daylight is a pale, fleeting ghost, casting long, melancholic shadows across the jagged rock faces of the valley. Every resource is locked away in the ice, forcing the tribe to become masters of timing and extreme adaptation. To survive, they must understand the subtle language of the land, reading the migration of herds in the drift of the snow. It is a world where beauty and terror are locked in a permanent, lethal embrace under a gray, iron-skied expanse. Life here is not a struggle for comfort, but a relentless, daily negotiation with the forces of a hostile, freezing climate. Deep inside the cave, the environment is carefully organized to maximize warmth and minimize the intrusion of the biting draft. The entrance is often partially blocked with heavy hides or walls of stone, creating a buffer against the wind that howls outside. The floor is covered in thick layers of animal fur, providing a necessary insulation against the cold seep of the cave stone. Families huddle in specific zones, far enough from the entrance to stay protected, yet close enough to the light to maintain their tools. In open-air areas, they go further, constructing sophisticated dome-shaped dwellings crafted entirely from the massive bones of woolly mammoths. These structures are reinforced with earth and draped in heavy, waterproof hides to create a microclimate of relative stability. Each dwelling is a testament to human ingenuity, a bubble of safety in a world that offers none. They treat their homes with respect, cleaning them, repairing them, and ensuring the interior remains a sanctuary for the young and the vulnerable. This is their domestic hearth, a space carved out of the wilderness where the sounds of the night are replaced by the soft murmurs of kin. The fire at the center of the cave is the most sacred and vital element of their entire existence. It is a living entity that requires constant attention, fed with precious animal fat and whatever scraps of wood can be scavenged from the ice. The flames cast an amber glow on the damp walls, turning the rugged stone into a tapestry of shifting, dancing silhouettes. This light is their companion, keeping the darkness at bay and providing a visual tether to the reality of their community. More importantly, it is the center of their social world, where the day's stories are told and the wisdom of the elders is shared. Cooking over this fire transforms the tough, frozen meat of the hunt into a rich, life-giving source of energy. It is here that the cold that seeps into their bones is finally chased away, allowing the tribe to sleep in comfort. To lose the fire is to invite the frost to claim the living space, a catastrophe that could lead to the demise of the entire group. They guard it with a devotion that borders on the divine, ensuring that the spark never fades from their dark world. Survival in the Ice Age is a relentless calculation of calories, where the hunt is the single most important activity of the day. They are not merely scavengers, they are highly skilled, cooperative hunters who track massive beasts across miles of treacherous terrain. Their diet consists primarily of the high-fat meat of horses, reindeer, and occasionally the colossal, intimidating woolly mammoth. When fresh meat is scarce, they rely on carefully preserved caches stored in the permafrost, a natural freezer that keeps their provisions from rotting. Gathering is equally vital, as they scout for roots, tubers, and frozen berries that provide necessary vitamins during the harshest months. Every bit of the kill is processed with clinical precision, with bones cracked for marrow and hides meticulously scraped clean. They have learned to understand the movement of the seasons, knowing exactly when the herds will pass through their territory. This is a life of feast and famine, where a single successful hunt can sustain the group for weeks of bitter cold. The knowledge of how to feed the tribe is passed down through generations, a legacy of skill that separates the living from the lost. Image prompt: a group of hunters in fur clothing tracking a herd of reindeer across a snow-covered landscape. Intense focus, realistic gear, 8K, dramatic lighting. In the palm of a hunter's hand rests the secret to their survival, a perfectly napped flint point, razor-sharp and deadly efficient. These stone tools are the product of immense skill, created by striking core stones with precise, practiced blows to create flakes. Their toolkit is astonishingly diverse, featuring scrapers for cleaning hides, burins for carving, and awls for piercing tough leather. They even craft tools from bone and antler, fashioning them into harpoons and needles that are both lightweight and durable. The invention of the eyed needle is a monumental leap in human history, allowing them to sew form-fitting, multi-layered clothing that traps heat. These tools are their greatest advantage, allowing them to overcome their own physical limitations in the face of immense environmental challenges. They treat their stone blades like precious treasures, resharpening them until they are mere slivers of their former selves. Each tool represents hours of labor and a deep, intimate understanding of the properties of their environment. In the quiet hours, you can hear the rhythmic tapping of stone on stone, the sound of a species building the future one flake at a time. Stepping out of the cave to hunt is to walk into an arena where you are no longer the only predator on the ice. The wolves, cave lions, and giant bears that roam the tundra are just as hungry as the humans, and often far more formidable. Encounters with these creatures are frequent and terrifying, requiring the hunters to move in complete, disciplined silence. They use coordinated traps and ambush tactics, leveraging their knowledge of the landscape to gain the upper hand. A hunt is never a simple affair, it is a tense, nerve-wracking dance with death that can turn in a heartbeat. When a mammoth is spotted, the air grows thick with adrenaline, and every hunter knows that one wrong move could be their last. The injuries sustained in these hunts are brutal, requiring the group's collective knowledge of primitive medicine to heal broken bones and torn flesh. Yet, they do not back down, for the survival of the tribe demands this courage and this risk. They face these giants with spears held high, their faces painted with the resolve of a species that refuses to yield to the cold. Beyond the living area, the cave stretches deep into the dark, uncharted bowels of the earth, a realm of profound silence. People rarely venture this far, but when they do, it is with purpose, carrying small lamps fueled by animal fat. These deep chambers are not for shelter, but for something far more significant, a connection to the unseen forces of their world. The walls here are untouched by the wind or the elements, preserving the secrets of a culture that lived in rhythm with the spirit. They paint vibrant, haunting images of the animals they hunt, using pigments derived from ochre, charcoal, and minerals. Some believe these paintings are a form of magic, a way to influence the spirits of the herds and ensure future abundance. The atmosphere is heavy with the weight of ancient rituals, where the flicking light of their lamps makes the painted beasts seem to move. It is a spiritual journey, a descent into a place where the barrier between the human and the animal feels incredibly thin. Standing in these chambers, you feel the profound, unspoken awe that our ancestors must have felt as they touched these walls. The art left behind on these walls is a window into the minds of people who were as intellectually and emotionally complex as we are. They don't just draw, they utilize the natural contours of the cave wall to give their animals a sense of volume and life. A bump in the rock becomes the muscular shoulder of a bison, while a crack is transformed into the sweep of a horse's tail. These images represent a sophisticated understanding of anatomy, color, and symbolism that has survived for over 30,000 years. They rarely draw themselves, preferring to focus on the animals that define their survival and their spiritual world. Each painting is a testament to an observation so keen that it borders on the reverent, reflecting a deep respect for the creatures of the tundra. For the artist, the act of painting is a sacred duty, a way to document their existence and honor the forces that govern their lives. We gaze at these lines today and see the same human spirit that drives our own need for creativity and legacy. It is a silent, enduring conversation between the past and the present, etched into the bedrock of the world. Beneath the surface of their struggle, the Ice Age clan is a complex, deeply interconnected society built on the necessity of trust. Cooperation is not just a moral choice, it is the fundamental mechanism that allows them to survive the harsh winters. They share their food, their warmth, and their knowledge, ensuring that no member of the group is left behind to face the frost. Elders are cherished as the living libraries of the tribe, holding the secrets of weather patterns and medicinal plant knowledge. Children learn the rules of survival through observation and play, absorbing the skills of their parents with a quiet, intense focus. They have a sophisticated language, using a mix of vocalizations and gestures to communicate across the roar of the blizzard. Even across vast distances, different groups maintain social networks, trading stone materials and potentially sharing marriage partners to keep the gene pool healthy. Their empathy is their most powerful tool, a social glue that keeps the group functioning as a single, resilient entity. They are not solitary beasts, they are a family, united by the shared heat of the fire and the shared peril of the ice. The rhythm of their life is dictated by the dramatic shift of the seasons, each bringing its own specific challenges and opportunities. Summer is a time of frantic activity, where the group must harvest as many resources as possible before the long freeze. Plants grow in the short, intense sunlight, providing a temporary abundance that must be dried and stored for the winter. As the temperature drops, they move deeper into their shelters, their lives becoming more sedentary and focused on internal tasks. This seasonal cycle forces them to be constantly on the move, tracking the herds as they migrate across the changing landscape. Winter is the time of the Great Retreat, where the cave becomes their entire world for months at a time. The transition between seasons is a dangerous period, as the ice becomes unstable and the herds become unpredictable in their search for food. They have learned to read the sky, the wind, and the behavior of the animals to predict these shifts with incredible accuracy. Each season is a chapter in a long, ongoing story of endurance that has defined their lineage for millennia. Image prompt, a split-view transition shot, one half shows a lush, green, short-lived summer tundra, the other shows a brutal, snowy, frozen winter landscape. 8K, cinematic. Survival depends on more than just hunting and shelter, it requires an intimate knowledge of the healing properties of the natural world. They understand which plants can reduce a fever, which mosses can staunch a wound, and how to set a broken bone. Healers within the group are highly respected, often acting as intermediaries between the physical world and the spiritual one. They treat injuries with a mix of practical skill and ritual, believing that health is a balance between the body and the environment. A deep, infected gash or a bout of sickness can be a death sentence, so they take every health issue with the utmost seriousness. They know how to extract oils from animal fats to soothe chapped skin and use fermented substances for digestive issues. This medicinal knowledge is passed down with the same care as the techniques for hunting, forming a vital part of their collective survival strategy. When a person falls ill, the entire tribe feels the loss of their contribution, making the healer's role one of the most critical in the cave. Their understanding of the human body is limited by their tools, but their success is a testament to the power of traditional, observation-based medicine. Image prompt, a tribal healer applying a poultice made of herbs to an injured person's arm by firelight. Focus on the hands and the medicinal materials. 8K, cinematic. For a child born into the Ice Age, the cave is both a playground and a rigorous classroom for learning the ways of survival. They grow up surrounded by adults, learning the nuances of stone knapping, hide scraping, and tracking long before they are strong enough to hunt. Their play is a practice for the future, involving mock hunts and the crafting of small, toy-like tools from discarded bone. They are never truly left alone, as the constant proximity of the group ensures they are always under a watchful eye. Even in the face of extreme cold, they are kept warm by the layers of fur and the proximity of the hearth. They learn the history of their people through stories, which are told in the dark, firelit hours with a captivating, dramatic flair. Their curiosity is encouraged, as understanding the natural world is the key to their eventual adulthood. Growing up in the cave is a harsh reality, but it is also a life of deep, constant human connection. They are the future of the tribe, and their survival is the primary concern of every adult in the cave. To live on the tundra is to exist in a world without landmarks, where the snow covers the familiar paths and the sky is the only constant. They have mastered the art of navigation by reading the subtle signs that a modern person would never notice. The angle of the sun, the direction of the prevailing winds, and the patterns of animal tracks are all part of their mental map. They can identify a herd's movement from the slight shift in the behavior of birds or the scent of disturbed moss. When they travel, they move with a confidence that defies the vast, empty nature of the landscape around them. They leave marks, a stone placed here, a branch bent there, to help others in the group find their way. This ability to navigate is not just a skill, it is a sensory immersion in the land itself, a feeling of being an integral part of the environment. Every journey is a test of their endurance and their capacity to stay oriented in a world that constantly changes. They are the first explorers, mapping the frozen reaches of the world with nothing but their own minds and the collective memory of their people. While they have developed a sophisticated spoken language, much of their communication is nonverbal, relying on a system of subtle signals. In the hunt, silence is their primary weapon, and they communicate across the tundra with the flick of a hand or a slight tilt of the head. This deep, nonverbal connection allows them to coordinate complex maneuvers without ever uttering a sound that might alert their prey. Inside the cave, these gestures are used to convey comfort, warning, and social hierarchy within the tribe. It is a language built on years of shared experience and a constant, unwavering attention to the people around them. You don't need words when you know exactly what your companion is thinking, a level of social cohesion that modern humans rarely achieve. This silent communication is a testament to their deep bond, forged in the intense, high-stakes environment of the Ice Age. It is a language of trust, of anticipation, and of an ancient, shared existence that transcends the need for speech. Even today, the ability to read these subtle cues remains buried within us, a relic of a time when every gesture could be the difference between life and death. Survival at 50 degrees below zero is impossible without the advanced clothing that these people have perfected over generations. They take the thick hides of animals and turn them into complex, multi-layered garments that are both warm and incredibly durable. Every piece of clothing is custom-fitted, using the ingenious eyed needle to create seams that keep the biting wind out. They wear tunics, leggings, and heavy parkas, often lined with the softest furs to provide the maximum amount of insulation. Footwear is especially important, with leather moccasins that are treated to be waterproof and lined with insulating grasses. The effort required to create these garments is immense, often taking weeks of patient, meticulous work by the most skilled artisans. They understand the importance of avoiding moisture, as damp clothing in the cold can be fatal, so they maintain their gear with religious diligence. This clothing is their portable house, allowing them to remain mobile in a world that wants to freeze them in place. It is a masterpiece of prehistoric engineering, a second skin that enables them to live in a world that should be uninhabitable for primates. The death of a loved one in the Ice Age is a moment of profound, shared grief that marks the tribe in ways that linger long. When a member dies, they are not simply abandoned, they are honored with a burial that speaks to a belief in something beyond this life. They are often interred with grave goods, their favorite tools, ornaments of bone and tooth, and offerings of food for the journey ahead. The care taken in these burials suggests that these people perceive a connection between the living and the dead that persists even after the breath has faded. They see death as a transition, a passage into a different state of being that remains linked to the world they lived in. These sites are often marked with stones or red ochre, a vibrant color that seems to symbolize life and blood. To participate in these rituals is to reaffirm the bonds of the community and to express a shared understanding of their own mortality. It is a moving, deeply human response to the mystery of existence, a silent prayer whispered in the face of the eternal winter. These graves are our first glimpse into the soul of humanity, a quiet declaration that we have always searched for meaning in the face of death. When the sun sets and the fire burns low, the cave comes alive with the power of the spoken word and the craft of storytelling. These are not just entertainment, they are the repository of their entire culture, containing the lessons, the histories, and the beliefs of the people. Through these stories, the young learn the rules of their world, the identity of their ancestors, and the nature of the spirits. The storytellers are master performers, using their voices, their movements, and the shadows on the wall to pull the listeners into another world. They recount the hunts of the past, the great migrations, and the mythical origins of the tribe with an intensity that holds the entire group spellbound. It is a communal experience that cements their bonds, creating a shared memory that defines their identity as a people. In the darkness of the cave, these stories are the light that guides them, the legacy that connects each individual to the vast chain of their ancestors. It is a tradition that has allowed them to survive the cold, preserving the human spirit in the most inhospitable place on earth. Life in a cave is a paradox of intense intimacy and profound isolation, where the group is everything and the world outside is nothing. Because they spend so much time in close proximity, they develop a level of familiarity that is almost telepathic. They share the same air, the same food, and the same struggles, creating a community where the individual is inseparable from the whole. There is a quiet, rhythmic quality to their daily existence, a steady pulse of activity that keeps the tribe moving forward through the winter. Even in their most private moments, the presence of others is felt, creating a sense of being constantly held and supported. This intimacy is their primary defense against the psychological toll of the freezing, desolate landscape outside. They talk, they work, they rest, and they grieve together, creating a tapestry of human connection that is as resilient as the stone walls of the cave. It is a life that is stripped to its absolute essentials, revealing the core of what it means to be a human being in the company of others. In this small, flickering space, the complexity of our species begins to take shape, rooted in the simple act of staying together. The Ice Age is not a static state, but a dynamic, often violent period of shifting climates and extreme, unpredictable weather events. A sudden blizzard can bury the entrance of a cave in hours, and a temperature drop can shatter the very tools they rely on. They live in a state of constant readiness, always anticipating the next change in the mood of the world. Survival is a test of their patience, their discipline, and their ability to stay calm when everything around them seems to be collapsing. They have developed a culture of pragmatism, where adaptability is the highest virtue and tradition is a tool for navigating change. They don't fight the weather, they flow with it, finding ways to turn the challenges of the ice into opportunities for ingenuity. This flexibility is what has allowed them to endure for so long, and it is the key to their eventual expansion into new and diverse environments. They are the survivors of the ultimate stress test, a species that has learned to thrive in the face of the most extreme conditions our planet has ever known. The world may be cold, but their hearts are burning with the fire of their own, unyielding resilience. Rituals permeate every aspect of their existence, acting as a structured response to the uncertainties and dangers of their world. Whether it is a ceremonial dance before a hunt or a quiet offering of thanks to the spirits after a meal, these acts anchor them to their beliefs. They believe that their success is not purely a matter of skill, but a result of maintaining a harmonious relationship with the natural forces. By performing these rituals, they express their gratitude, seek guidance, and reaffirm their commitment to the values of their tribe. The cave itself is often treated as a sacred space, a place where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual realms are porous and thin. These practices give them a sense of control in a world that is often terrifyingly beyond their influence. Even the simple act of preparing a tool can become a ritual, an expression of focus and respect for the materials they use. These traditions are the threads that bind their society together, ensuring that they remain a cohesive unit in the face of constant external pressure. It is a way of creating order in the chaos, a ritualized response to the wild, unpredictable heart of the Ice Age. Mastery of fire is the cornerstone of their culture, a technological triumph that has effectively separated them from the rest of the animal kingdom. They are the only creatures on Earth who have tamed the flame, using it to expand their range, their diet, and their social capabilities. The fire is not just a tool, it is a companion, a source of comfort that has fundamentally changed the way they live. They have learned how to transport embers, how to fuel a flame with the most efficient materials, and how to position it for maximum warmth and minimal smoke. Their reliance on fire is so deep that it influences the very architecture of their living spaces, shaping the way they organize their homes and their communities. Losing the fire is unthinkable, a disaster that could be fatal, so they maintain a hierarchy of responsibility to ensure it is never extinguished. In the darkness of the Ice Age, the fire is the center of their existence, the bright, flickering heart of a world that is otherwise frozen and dead. It is the light that allows them to dream, to plan, and to create, making the cave a place of warmth, civilization, and human life. For the young, the first hunt is the most significant moment of their lives, a rite of passage that transitions them from childhood to adulthood. It is a grueling, dangerous test of their skill, their courage, and their ability to contribute to the survival of the group. The entire tribe observes the initiate's performance with a mix of pride and anxiety, knowing that the stakes are high. Success is not just measured by the kill, but by the discipline and the awareness displayed throughout the encounter. It is an experience that changes them, leaving them with the marks of the tundra and the confidence of a capable hunter. This ceremony reinforces the importance of the hunt to their survival and the responsibility that comes with being a provider. When they return to the cave, they are greeted with a celebration that cements their place within the social fabric of the tribe. It is a moment of profound, shared accomplishment, a celebration of the next generation of survivors. They are no longer children, they are adults, entrusted with the future of their people in a world that demands everything they have to give. Art is their way of speaking to time, a form of communication that bridges the gap between their daily struggles and the infinite. They create symbols, patterns, and figures that represent the world as they see it, recording their observations for generations to come. These marks are a language of their own, conveying meaning through shape, color, and placement in a way that words cannot. It is a way of externalizing their thoughts, their fears, and their hopes, creating a shared record of their experience on the ice. These symbols are found everywhere, on their tools, on the cave walls, and even on their own bodies, which they decorate with tattoos and ochre paint. This artistic expression is not a luxury, it is a fundamental human need, a way of defining their place in the universe. We look at these works today and see the same search for meaning that drives our own creative lives, a timeless echo of the human spirit. They are not just surviving, they are interpreting, observing, and creating, leaving a mark that the ice can never fully erase. Kinship is the foundation of their entire world, a system of relationships that ensures everyone is supported and protected. Families are not just the immediate parents and children, but an extended web of relations that spans the entire group. This system is their social safety net, providing care for the elderly, the sick, and the children in a world where vulnerability is a constant risk. They demonstrate their love through constant physical contact, sharing warmth, grooming each other, and providing comfort in the dark hours. The strength of these bonds is what allows them to endure the most grueling winters, providing a psychological anchor that prevents the tribe from falling into despair. Even in the face of loss, the community remains, drawing strength from the connections that survive the passing of the individual. These are not just social structures, they are the physical manifestations of their love and their commitment to each other's survival. In the cave, love is a practical necessity, a way of ensuring that every member of the group has the support they need to face the cold. It is a testament to the enduring power of human connection, even in the most extreme of environments. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible history documentaries.